spring season is kind of, who cares about it? It's not important. Your form at the end of summer is all that matters if you're going to Worlds. But for Hanwha Life Esports, they are the 8th place team. And where will Hanwha Life Esports' miracle run end? That's what we're going to find out tonight. And notice the stats that you take a look at here. 7 games here for Hanwha Life Esports in terms of the regional qualifier. They're 6-1. Their stats are massively improved. That is where it changes. Here's the historical record between these two players, including best of 3s.
Yeah, you can see it goes back to 2018 summer, back when, of course, Chovy. As you can see here, some of the stats, playoffs for Faker versus regional qualifier stats for Chovy.
His stats are pretty insane, and some of these that you'll notice are the ones you expect from Chovy. CS difference at 15, doubling Faker's goal difference at 15 now.
And the LeBlanc are all taken away. Chovy playing a lot of the Azir as well, and he will just hop back onto that pick.
Has been a big go-to in the past, the Syndra also, but they look towards the Twisted Fate that I mentioned earlier. And the Kassadin's coming through. This has been a Showmaker exclusive here in Korea. We saw it hovered yesterday, but it's actually going to come through. A very aggressive choice here, but it has a lot of power once you hit that late game. And I think this is the first real test that Hanwha Life Esports have had with their drafting since the qualifiers started. As wow, we'll see the Karma locked in here for the final pick. Samsung run the gauntlet twice, the 3rd time as Gen G, where they went the full gauntlet in 2018. It has happened before. We've seen it here in our regional qualifiers for Korea. It's just very uncommon. Owner coming up here, though, to look for Morgan, actually. Walks away from the Krugs.
Yeah. For a little bit more, bouncing on the head, but the stun comes in, and the flash will not be enough. And Owner gets out of there very clean, doesn't even take an extra turret shot.
Especially when Meganar is up. Let's look at how this lane is going to go in the early game. We talked about it a little bit in draft, but just seeing it in practice here. I mean, 20 CS up. It's Chovy, of all players, but you give this guy a winning matchup. Once again, Owner's on the top side of the map, and he's not alone. Keria is rotating up. Vista's here. It's a big party. Willer on the complete wrong side of the map. They can maybe get a Drake for this if they can
get a little bit of pressure out of this red buff, but at the end of the day, losing that Rift Herald is pretty huge, as we do have the hook coming in here.
And Owner is hiding that he's in the brush. And the more time that goes by here, the better for Hanwha Life Esports, because Chovy could just continue to stay mid. They actually do have Keria rotating up right now.
Yeah.
This Meganar is going to buy a ton of time.
They did see the fact that the Lee Sin is up here. Willer has snuck into this brush, very nicely pointed out by Jonah Strong, that they do not have the vision here of Willer. He has gone totally undetected, and Kana's been playing so aggressive all game long. In this lane, he still has his flash, and he will be able to use that to get away here. Owner in position, will land the Q, but stick around. Willer did not cancel his back, so he's not here to stop the charge right at the get-go.
They don't commit to the teleport. There's a control ward there. I feel like this was a huge opportunity, but as you said, Willer's just a few seconds too late.
For so minutes, he's kind of just been hanging around the top side, not getting much done, as we do have a 2v2 coming in here. Vista just going to flash away from this one. You can see the poke damage is coming out in spades, and Gumayusi just hiding there on bush. Just waiting as Owner was rotating down, but the damage is there as the Q will force the heal out, and Deft actually flashed forward for that one, so the kick comes in and the Q misses as Morgan's just gonna die in the solo kill. As now Deft is gonna be able to just walk away from this one. Keria not able to get the flash hook himself, and it's just chaos everywhere.
Yeah, definitely a lot of misplays going on here all at the same time, as Faker will get caught.
Oh boy, here we go again, but as Chovy is realizing, you still have to respect that flash is away from the ultimate. Faker gonna eat 2 turret shots.
Chovy will have to not only flash, but does have to teleport back to lane. As we watch this solo kill in action once again, he just commits the ult here, and Morgan gets double stunned. A lot of extra damage coming out from the Airy there, which is the Gnar, but Faker is very happy to solo lane against a mini Gnar as we see the teleport commit.
Wow, they're all just ganging up on Deft. They found him there alone, and now he's just dead. And you see that Morgan goes in, gets Zhonya's away from his Meganar into the wall, and now he's just gonna die, and T1 are just easy.
Another one of those scenarios where you're just a little bit too far out and you get caught. There's a ward here, so Gumayusi could see this rotation. Keria, it's easy hook, lantern combo, and that just allows Owner to come in and get the kill. And as Hanwha Life Esports, you can't really turn this. There's too much CC on the side of T1, and Morgan going in here was just not the call. I mean, you should not be fighting for this as Hanwha Life Esports, I don't think. So risky.
Well, they're going to try to force a fight here. Willer with that one, and the Aphelios is going to just steal away the Drake. They are going to get a nice amount of damage on the carrier here, as there is the AoE coming out from Gumayusi. He's just standing his ground and being a turret in his own right. He's able to take down Willer. You can see that Faker is kind of just corralling them all into the river here. He's totally fine. He's Kassadin with Everfrost. Nobody's ever going to be able to lock him down, as he will chase down Morgan. And the rest of everybody else on the side of Hanwha Life will be under this turret. As you can see, with the Karma and a full health, full mana Chovy, T1 are weighing their options.
That's sole point. And this is a really decisive play from Hanwha Life Esports, but I don't think it was the right one. They don't have any vision on Faker, by the way, while this is happening. And you could argue that if they knew Faker was on the right side here, this decisive play from Morgan is actually really awesome, because you know you can actually take essentially a 4v5 or 5v4 if you're Hanwha Life on the left side of the fight. But not knowing that Faker is here means that it wasn't even smart in that way. They just really were bloodthirsty for the kill. They failed to get the Drake, and now they're caught between a rock and a hard place because Faker is here, and there's no way for Morgan to get out. He's already used his Meganar. And this could have even been worse, actually. Hanwha Life Esports, your best bet here is to just push mid. But if you get flanked while you're trying to do it, you might lose the game right here.
Meganar just goes down, and T1, it looks like they're trying to just charge them. Owner really forcing it here on a Chovy. He dies immediately as the Emperor's Divide is not going to be enough to get Chovy to safety. And here comes Faker over the top. There is just no escape for anybody on the side of Hanwha Life now. You can chase for pretty much the entire time they will be alive, as even Keria and Gumayusi here still very healthy and trying to chase down this Varus, which they will get eventually.
Adept is going to get caught here, as you say. No escape. And that's going to be a bunch of extra gold going into Faker's pocket, who's now, I believe, 4 kills in this game. When you watch this play, look at how far away Kana is when Owner attempts this play. He's super zoned out, and Kana actually can't get in to follow up the slicing Maelstrom. So Chovy is able to help zone, the exhaust comes through, but the damage is just too much. They're so far behind that they just can't carry. There's no world in which, in this scrappy scenario that T1 creates, even with Owner getting picked immediately, that Def can actually do consistent damage. He's playing Varus, right? And even though he's the last to go down here, there's not enough damage output for his team to actually try to turn. So yes, they instantly blow up the Lee Sin, but Meganar and say, your time here is done.
No Meganar, Morgan's just dead.
Yeah.
I mean, he will flash, actually, and kind of doesn't have flash, but he is cannon, so.
Just rush his way in.
He's not able to get that auto, actually. Another lightning rush, and it looks like the hop is not off cooldown here, so kind of will actually kill him through the flash down the incredibly long lane. They don't even need to commit anything to it. It's just Gumayusi goes down there, and let's see, we got the Sorelli as they know it's all Chovy or nothing, and they kick him into the team. He's able to shuffle his way out of this one, but fortunately that does mean that the rest of his team is kind of left alone. As Faker does take a lot of damage, you can see here, but he's able to survive and back away.
They do not commit. They're going to start the Baron as Hanwha Life Esports still have this Meganar.
Chovy, he teleported back in, so Hanwha Life really trying to make a stand here, but Faker,
they see him
on vision. You can see he's trying to get away now. The Gnar into the wall. Again, it's level 16 Kassadin. He flashes in, takes a ton of damage actually, but that Zhonya's is perfect, and there's the second one, and he will survive. And all this focus on Faker, of course, Gumayusi is still just left alone, as is Kana and Owner and the rest of the team.
He survives there, and Hanwha Life Esports can't turn. Now they're going to try to group up for Baron. Kana still has Slicing Maelstrom. Didn't need to use it.
That's insane. And you can see that Willer will just be taken down too. And the Baron is free here for T1. You could just take one by one all of the objectives.
This is a really nice Crescent Guard from Willer. Without this, Hanwha Life Esports don't even have a case actually for this fight. And yet still they probably should have just not done this, because you're so far behind you feel desperate to make a play like this. But again, you don't have an AD carry in this game. is watch how low Faker gets here. He's unaware that he's on vision, but he's able to Rift Walk twice and then does a ton of damage. And yes, he does go down to essentially 0 health while he is also exhausted. But the rest of his team can follow up. And again, the most impressive part of this is Kana doesn't ult. He's like, no, I'm going to hold that for Baron. Don't worry. We got this fight and trust our leader, Faker. And now with the Baron going down here, T1 have ultimate. He hops on top of them, and then he hops on top of them again. If they stay.
Or he hops away. He can do whatever he wants. And all the while, there's all this focus on the Kassadin, and Gumayusi's 4-0. Pick up the Mountain Soul. I would imagine that they're not going to let this game live for too much longer.
Okay, the Moonlight Vigil misses.
Oh, he lands.
That doesn't.
I thought they were going to go in on that one, but taking it slow.
Kana's like, can I press R? Can I press R?
Yeah, waiting for their moment, and there it is. Nice Gnar away from the team as Owner just laughs at Chovy, flashes over the Emperor's Divide and says, thank you very much, we'll take game number 1. And that is going to be a utter stop here in game number 1. T1 declaring them the stronger team here to start off.
It's the first time Hunter Life Esports aren't able to play that Camille Renekton controlling split pushing game that we've seen from them 7 of 7 games.
Picking the Gnar directly into Lee Sin Kennen, you know that he's just going to be thrown around like a rag doll unless you keep Willer up there, but that's not necessarily what you wanted to do in this game. And so you saw Kana got super fed in the early game. Willer wasn't able to be proactive. And then all that early to make game pressure was just...
캐넨 조심.
괜찮아.
돼. 엔트 빠졌어.
아직.
아직 잡았어.
아들을 몇 번 타는 건데 너.
바울스 끌었어.
오.
수자 나도 한 입만.
이제 준장 뭐냐?
아왜 리신 살리는 건데?
나도 그게 참 의문이다.
이거.